And welcome. Good morning, everyone, to the Comic Corner here on the Agents of Fandom Network here on YouTube, Facebook, and The Bad Place. My name is Eamon. I'm your host. What we do is comic book news, reviews, and interviews. I have two fantastic friends, super friends, if you will. With me today, AF. Good after evening to you.
Good morning to you too. Um, I, I love the Super Friends, especially this week. Pretty much on point. I'm doing good. I'm freezing over here. Cape Town is surrounded by snow on the mountains, so it's the air is extremely cold. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm melting. It's hot. It's humid. It's very icky outside. Not enjoying it. TJ, is the weather slightly better in lovely California where it's dry and not humid?
No. Well, it's not humid, but it's hot. It's really hot. It's it hit like 100 the other day. I think today it's looking at like 98 or so. So we're cooking over here. Not good for a heavy set guy like me. I don't do well in the hot climates, but we're making our way through. We're seeing Superman today, so that's going to cool us off.
Yeah, we were both dying when we were on Hollywood Boulevard.
Dude, yes, I was cooking.
Oh man, that was still one of the most watched things on the Agents of Fandom Network. Here on the YouTube page and TikTok and Instagram.
The people know we deliver, man. We deliver.
Very fun seeing all those stars, and I still apologize that I couldn't get Brie Larson. We've realized she walked by, and Kevin Feige walked by us.
Dude,
too.
they slipped by so sneakily. Like you can tell they're pros at this because we were standing there that whole time, and I did not see them once until they started the whole thing. We're like, wait, how did they get there?
Oh, absolutely. But let's get into comics. First look for first steps. Okay, I'm sorry. Is this clickbait? A little bit, but the new Fantastic Four comic came out. It is an official tie-in to the movie. It did reveal some things, and we'll talk about it, which is pretty neat. The new Jersey Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #2 came out this week. Miles is referred to as the New Jersey Spider-Man, which I think is hilarious. Because he's just like, come on, man, New Jersey. And of course, the return of a cult classic. I didn't have this on my radar at all because I didn't know it was coming out this week. I thought it was coming out like months from now, but it came out this week, which is wild. This is a cult classic. We'll talk about it. It's about a bear who's a serial killer. If you like the show this is like better than that on so many fronts. We'll chat about it. This is the sequel series to that book. But first, let's talk about some news. TJ, let's talk about some news. This may be dropped on you because you weren't here when we're rounding things up. I don't know if you saw this. Marvel announced their new X-Men event coming out in October. I haven't been really digging this new era of X-Men. You've been a little more positive than me, but I don't know how you've been since then because you haven't really been reviewing any of the X books, and that's a bit telling if you ask me. But let's talk about this new event. This is the Age of Revelation. This is the reintroduction of Doug Ramsey, who is now the heir of Apocalypse. Doug Ramsey, yes, that Doug Ramsey. Cypher, what is going on with this character? Just crazy stuff. They're telling a story 10 years into the future. This is the Age of Revelation. 10 years into the future, we have all of these titles. Let's call up right here. We got The Amazing X-Men, Binary, Long Shots, Sinisters 6, get the pun there, Unbreakable X-Men, Cloak or Dagger, Omega Kids, Undead Pool, Expatriate X-Men, screwing with me on that one, Iron and Frost, Radioactive Spider-Man, X-Vengers, The Last Wolverine, Laura Kinney, Sabretooth, Rogue Storm, X-Men, Book of Revelation. There's a lot of titles in that. Some of them silly. Some of them a bit convoluted.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
What? A lot.
Is this getting you back on the X train?
If anything, it's getting me off, if we're being
Ooh.
honest. Shout out my boy Ron. He makes a great point. Just what people need for people feeling overwhelmed by the Ashes. Another 16 title event drop. And I think that kind of sums up my thoughts on this exactly. Is I'm not necessarily against it. And also, I do want to say, like, fair play, Damon, fair play about the comment about the X books. But I will say specifically for Jed McKay and Gail Simone's X-Men titles, those I am just unfortunately embarrassingly behind on. So that's the reason why I haven't talked about them, not because I'm not enjoying them. But I mean, I don't know. This just seems like too much, even for me, who has been enjoying through from the Ashes. We've obviously have had some titles not make it all the way through, which is very disappointing. So I don't know. It just kind of feels like almost like, okay, well, From the Ashes didn't do what we wanted it to do, so let's try this now to like see if we can do what we wanted to do. And I don't know. It's just like, again, just too much is the word that just keeps coming to my mind. Just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like all of this stuff, but there's too much of it going on. And even for someone who's following it, like, I'm looking at this right now. Binary, long shots, let's see, Iron and Frost. Like, I've been reading the X books and I could not tell you what those are. I couldn't tell you what the hell that means. So
I think it's supposed to be a big swing.
Yeah, it may be too big of a swing for me. I Storm, Phoenix, and the Wolverine book drawn by Martin Kokolo are the three that really have maintained my attention, and I think are what are really worth picking up now that, like we said, some of the other titles have been dropped. But I don't know. I don't think the whole team thing is really gonna catch me anymore. I think I'm gonna stick with the more solo adventures, like I said, Storm, Phoenix, because that's where the big changes are happening. It feels like these other things are kind of just waiting in the water, and that's like no disrespect either.
One of the funniest things, it's the very first sentence of this official release from Marvel.com, is that it says, every so often, a pivotal moment occurs that radically transforms the Marvel Universe. I don't think you need every so, because it is just very often. But the fact of the matter is, does it actually transform the Marvel Universe in the end? From our experience, no. We are now, by the way, in month 5 of One World Under Doom. Has anything happened?
Shit. Yeah, I need
Out
to
of
catch up
9,
on
by
that
the way.
too.
Month 5 out of 9. Has anything happened?
The last time I read, no. But like I said, I am behind on that one. But it also is a little frustrating, which I would have to look into how this all fits together. But I will also admit I have bias. Everyone on this show knows I'm a big fan of Jackson Lance and Colin Kelly, but I am really enjoying the giant size that has been coming out with Kamala. I think that that's been really fun and interesting. So it's also a little disappointing that I'm seeing this huge X-Men thing and there's nothing with Kamala, nothing, like no continuation of that. That puts a bad taste in my mouth for sure. So, and again, that's part of the one thing of the X-Men that's really interesting me right now. So if they just kind of drop that off, that's going to really make me even more not want to hop on this.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, because I mean they started this giant size books, the Dark Phoenix, the one with Kamala as well. Like, I mean, if is there going to be any payoff for that? And then you're going to enter into this in October. Are they going to expect everybody to like pick up majority of these books to sort of keep up with this larger storyline that they're trying to tell that's going to culminate into something? And we spoke about like how heavy the purses are getting with all the pulls. So I don't know, man. I don't think dropping a 16 title story arc is the way to go.
Yeah, it's for me, the weird thing is some of these titles on here, like we have Binary and Long Shots and Cloak or Dagger. In reality, I think the only one on here I'd be interested in is to Cloak and Dagger, but I don't even know if this is going to be Cloak and Dagger because this is in a theoretical future 10 years from now, right? we're Age of Apocalypsing this thing. It's the 30th anniversary of it. It's a big swing, but it's not a big swing. It's nostalgic, but it's a weird in between. So I'm just kind of like, on this. This isn't hooking me at all. I'm gonna be honest, but who knows? Maybe it'll be good. We do get surprised sometimes. We do get surprised.
Hot take. I don't even really
Okay.
like the original Age of Apocalypse that much.
Ooh.
So
Throw in the air horns. Let's talk about a book that came out this week, though. TJ, did you have the opportunity to read the Fantastic Four First Steps?
I tricked you all. I've been doing it this whole time while we've been talking. But yeah, no, I'm reading it. I got it.
There you go. So this is written by Matt Fraction, artist Mark Buckingham, colorist Alex Sinclair, letterer Joe Caramagna, and editors Lindsay Cohick, Annalise Bissa, and Tom Brevoort of the X Office. This is an official Marvel Studios tie-in. This is not the first ever official Marvel Studios tie-in, as I've seen some outlets say. This is first one for a big movie in a hot minute. But this is official. This tells their technically their origin, but we already know the origin, although they put a bit of a twist on it. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And then we find out and we learn more about their first ever kind of not mission, but their first ever battle with the Mole Man and how that all comes together. We get a little bit of a taste of the personalities of the four standard. And something I do think is kind of interesting is this book also, although it's canon to the universe, this is a book written in universe about their first mission. So there are some things in here that may have happened that may not have actually happened. For example, the thing saying it's clobbering time. He says that in this comic, but we've seen in the trailers, hey kid, that's only in the TV shows and the comics, right? So there's some things in here that may be exaggerated. There's a lot of fun things in here too. There's fake ads for Johnny Storm's fan club, which is great. There's a fake ad also for you to buy the Fantasticar, which is great. You get a whole page, a little write-up on Reed Richards and stuff. It's pretty bare bones. I'm going to be honest. I read the whole thing and it's a lot of repeating information and nothing new, but it's all right, this is cool. This feels like an in-universe book, and that's what it was designed to be like. Some of the things in here, though, that I said that are actually quite interesting are this. We do learn a few things. This takes place roughly 4 years before the movie. They did not technically hit cosmic rays. You know what they called them, AF? Celestial radiation. The word celestial gets thrown around a few times in this. So who knows how big the Celestials as a whole play in this movie? Yeah. Maybe a bit of a hint. Maybe it's just a thing that gets thrown out in this book, and who knows. But most importantly, like I mentioned, the Mole Man is officially confirmed in this book, and Paul Walter Hauser will be playing the Mole Man.
I mean, how could you not predict that, right? As soon as they cast him, I was like, oh, he's Mole Man, 100%.
It's official. It's official. One of the things in here I do like, AF, is that it did show how Sue is really the leader of this team. She is the heart of the team. Reed is the nerdy tech guy. He will always go science first. Ben is Ben. Johnny is Johnny. But Sue is really the heart of the team, and she's really the decision maker, it feels like. So when they were going to battle with Mole Man, she's the one who says, hey, how do we settle this? How do we stop this? Because why did this battle start in the first place? It was because they were building the Baxter building on Subterraria territory, and it was starting to destroy Subterraria. So what Sue does is they compromise, and they find a way to make everyone happy in the end. She doesn't put him in prison. They don't send him off elsewhere. It was a little bit of a misunderstanding, but also just to make sure everyone is in a better place in the end. And that's very Sue Storm, so I really enjoy that. TJ, you skimmed through it. What'd you think of it?
I mean, I've said this before many times. You can call me the MCU shill. I'm a fan of the synergy stuff, especially when it's done this way, in a way that it's like, this is very, like, there's no question this is supposed to be for the movie. This lives in the universe of the movie. Like, I'll eat that up all day long. Like, give me 10 million issues of this. But and this is for me too, I have been purposely staying away from all Fantastic Four marketing, the trailers. I watched the very first trailer that they dropped, but other than that, I'm trying to keep away from it. So I don't know if maybe that's why I enjoyed this so much, because it was just so cool seeing like the actors, I guess, on page, but seeing them in these roles, like seeing the kind of interactions between them, kind of getting a glimpse what the movie might be like. I absolutely loved that. I loved the fake ads, like with the Johnny Storm dating thing. I thought those were great. Just add to the whole like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sense that
It's
like
world
this is
building.
real. Yeah, like the
Yeah, it's a
world
world
is
building
real.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I really loved that. I thought it was fun. Like you said, I love that they put Sue as more of the leader of the group. That's how I mean, she has defeated a celestial, people. Go read John Byrne's Fantastic Four. Sue is nothing to mess around with. So I love that they're giving her a lot of importance here. And yeah, it was just a good ass time, man. Makes me even more excited for the movie. The one thing I will say is I hope that since we have this, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get any Mole Man or Gigantor in the actual film, which I kind of am afraid is what's going to happen. But that would be my only gripe. Other than that, I loved it, man. Pure 1960s Fantastic Four, like cheesy, fun vibe, which I love. I mean, it's pure Stan and Jack.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just see like quick little flashbacks, essentially, of what we saw in this book, to more explain like how the four handle situations. They don't go in and beat them up. They try to problem solve.
Yeah,
They
I'll
try
just
to
be so
compromise.
upset. I'll just be so upset if the only Gigantor we got is a freaking Little Caesars commercial. Which, I mean, I thought that commercial looked dope anyway, but still.
But like
Maybe,
Damon's saying, maybe we get it in a flashback, or just
yeah,
like
like
a
very
Yeah.
quick
Fingers crossed.
flashback sequence. I think it'll be very, very quick, not very heavy
Yeah.
in the movie at all. But for an MCU tie-in book, I thought this was fine. I've definitely read a lot worse in my life. I've definitely read a lot worse
Well, you got to
promotional
know what
books.
to expect too, right? Like, I'm not
Oh
going
yeah,
into
for
this
sure.
expecting like Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, I expected it to be a little cheesy, a little all over the place, but it's Fantastic Four. They're fun.
So that's fun. If you're excited for the movie and you want to check it out, go pick it up. I think it's a neat little promo book to get people excited. What is not a promo book and is what not light or cheesy. Yeah. This is Absolute Superman number 9. This is written
Is
by
that
Jason
Iron
Aaron, artist.
Superman?
It's Omega Superman. This is written by Jason Aaron, artist Rafa Sandoval and Fico Osio, colorist Ulysses Areola, letterer Becca Carey, and editors Ash Padilla, Chris Conroy, and Andrew Marino. We'll talk spoilers about this because we kind of have to, but the end of last issue essentially was Superman here got shot with some kryptonite bullets. And the Omega Men took him in. Lois Lane got kidnapped by Ra's al Ghul and by LazCorp. And we pick right back up to where that was. So Superman is in surgery, essentially, to get some kryptonite removed from him. He does it himself because he's Superman, which is freaking crazy. And more importantly, AF, we get the introduction of not a mother box, but of a father box. Because this is the ultimate, this is the absolute universe. This was a universe created by Darkseid. Makes sense that some father boxes are floating around here. And Soul, the little AI suit that Superman has, not loving this father box, does not trust it, gives bad vibes, TJ, if you will. Meanwhile, Lois Lane being interrogated by Ra's al Ghul, Lois being a badass, essentially predicting everything Ra's is going to say. And he's like, yeah, you're right. But in the end, you still work for me. So you're going to have to do as I say. Where this issue gets very interesting, and this whole series as a whole, I've seen a lot of people complain that like maybe the Superman is not as hopeful. He's angry. It's a little darker, but he's not evil, which is very important. He is not evil. He's angry. And we start to get a little bit of, I won't say a hopeful Superman, but a remorseful Superman
Yeah.
here. Because comics, I talk about this in my shop quite often, they're a reflection of the time. No matter what comic you pick up at any given time, it's a snapshot of that moment. And this is very unsettling, very reminiscent of the world outside our window right now, which is a Marvel thing. But it's true to this book, where you have two groups who think they're doing the right thing. One of them more evil than the other, uh, quite obviously, but the other trying to do the right thing. But when you go too far, and you become that other thing, right? And there is no good side anymore. And Superman realizes that. So he refuses to kill, absolutely refuses to kill. And that is what the Omega Men say need to be done in order for their mission of to get rid of Lascourt to be accomplished. And it's quite interesting. And I really enjoyed how Superman finally, it feels like he didn't let his rage take over him. He let his reasoning settle him. AF, what did you make of this issue?
Yeah, like I told you before we started this, like I just felt it was so intense, from the start to finish. You spoke about an angrier Superman, and I mean the cards that he was dealt. I mean, his planet destroyed. He lost his parents. He was traveling all alone, light years away from his original home, and he came to Earth, and he was with the Kents, and then he got taken away from them, and it's just like it was one bad thing after the next for him. So you can almost understand all of that, like sort of anger, just like building up and sort of like boiling, like reaching a boiling point for him, that he probably doesn't know how to control all of that. And yeah, I think it was a very good sort of way to storytell, like you said, what's happening right outside. And the peacemakers, they are basically like these ice agents at the moment. That's what I'm thinking about. All of this news that I'm like reading on my timelines, and when I'm reading these books, I'm seeing so many similarities over here. But one part of the book that I did like, and I enjoyed a bit, was his interactions with Jimmy Olsen, who is the Alpha Man, and he was speaking about like if he has kids one day, what type of dad would he want to be, and he wants to show that he actually did something right for this planet. And at the end of it all, he's the one that gets kidnapped. They forgot him, they left him behind, and he's gonna end up going through some sort of interrogation. But yeah, for me, that was a sort of a shining light for me in this issue.
Yeah, what I liked about the Jimmy Olsen of it all too is that he, like, it's about taking it too far in a lot of ways. And he joined this because he said, I looked outside and the world is a cluster, it's a mess. And I wanted
Yeah,
to be someone who can go in and help. But even he, who's doing everything he can to go in to help, is not trusting the people ahead of him, right? He's not trusting the higher ups, he's questioning it. Also, AF, I did laugh a little bit. There's quite a few moments in this issue in particular where Jimmy Olsen looks strikingly amount like Gambit. He has he has like this staff. He even has like the neck cowl thing, like the hair swooped down. Like Jimmy Olsen became Gambit. What's going on here? Very very similar visually, but still very very solid. Um, I've been enjoying this. This is weirdly enough, I think probably the darkest of the big three Trinity Absolute books. AF, do you agree with me?
I haven't read Wonder Woman in a bit, but yeah, I think for sure, like out of all of the Absolute books that I've been reading, I think this is definitely the darkest one.
I'm very excited for all three to finally meet up. Scott Snyder yesterday teased that it's coming up, the crossover coming up in the winter. Kelly Thompson also teased that will be happening relatively soon, which is exciting. And we'll talk about a crossover. Speaking of crossovers, TJ. Oh, look at that. We're finally getting some crossover between all of our Ultimate books. This is Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, #2. This is written by Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler, artist Jonas Scharf, colorist Edgar Delgado, letterer Corey Pettit, and editors Michelle Marchese and Will Moss. What's going on here, AF? Well, Miles' baby sister, who's just a few months old, just magically teleported into the Ultimate Universe via a little business card left by the maker. Oops. Never take business cards, kids. And Miles went in after her. So in the first issue, it was Miles essentially meeting the new Ultimate Spider-Men, both Peter and his son. And they go off and try to find baby sister. Didn't go very well because baby sister AF is in where? Wakanda currently. Sure. So we got to go all the way to Wakanda. What I have been enjoying, much like the other Spider-Man title, the Ultimate Spider-Man title, is that time passes between issues. And the last few weeks, Miles has been under the supervision of the Ultimates, specifically Wasp and Ant-Man, or Giant Man in this universe. And we get a very interesting look through the eyes of Hank Pym in this issue, TJ. How he sees the world, his quote unquote origin story actually shown. We know that he had like a traumatic brain injury and is no longer the genius that he used to be, thanks to the maker, obviously, and how he views things. And that's done very well, I will say. It will make me very sad, TJ, if Hank Pym becomes evil. I know you've been thinking it can happen, but I really do not want it to happen because I don't want it. And how much he trusts Janet, I think, is very done very well as well, especially considering we know she's the mole.
Well, I was going to say that's why it's going to happen, because there's I mean, especially after this issue, there's no way in my mind that he is ever going to go against her no matter what. So if he doesn't already, once he learns that she's the mole, he's going to be like, all right, I guess we're working for the maker now. So like he's going wherever she's going. But I really love this. Just, I mean, again, I'm a sucker for a good team up, bringing people together sort of thing. And I mean, you'll know, I don't know how many months, weeks we've been following the Ultimates now. And like, we're finally getting some of these toys playing in the same sandbox. So that's just, despite all the interesting things with Miles and 616, 1610, all of that, it's just cool seeing like Hank Pym, the Wasp in Wakanda, like these two worlds finally starting to come together. I mean, Black Panther references the Ultimate. It's like even something as small as that is like, okay, finally, like we're starting to come together here. So that's all really great. I do still obviously have a lot of questions as to, what Miles' place is in this universe. I, unfortunately, maybe someone
He's
watching...
New Jersey Spider-Man, TJ.
Yeah, exactly. New Jersey Spider-Man. But someone maybe, hopefully in the comments, can enlighten me, because I don't know anything about his sister either. But it seems like the way they're talking, his sister is like the same... How would you say, like, genetic makeup that he is? Like, basically what I'm getting at is, like, Miles is special because he comes from the original 1610 universe. But the way that they're talking about his sister, it seems like she has that sort of energy signature as well. So I don't know what the connection of that is and, like, what implication of her being in this universe could be. But like I said, I'm sure that Camp and Ziegler will be able to inform me on that as we move forward. So yeah, I
It's
just
because
love seeing the
I
worlds
think it's
coming together.
because they just share the same genetic quote unquote makeup as the maker, being from the same
But
universe.
that's my question though. It's
So
his
it's she's kind
sister,
of like a key.
so she would have it because the mom is from 1610 then, right? Or see, that's
Yeah,
what I'm confused on.
yeah. I guess so. I guess it would
Yeah.
be some half genetic makeup.
We
Very
need a
strange. Very
crash course
weird.
in universe genetics, multiverse genetics for that one.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
So
2 thumbs up though.
we do get to see the Ultimates finally chat with the Wakanda folks, so that it's in Black Panthers, Storm, Killmonger. We do finally get to see them chat. And the big reveal at the end is, hey, you know how Japan is kind of under sunfire right now? Oh yeah. Well, baby got taken by them now. So we finally get to see some Sunfire stuff, which is like, yay! Because that's I
Yeah.
think my biggest issue with Ultimate X-Men is that they
Mhm.
set up like the Sunfire thing, like him being like the Emperor of Japan, and we just never even hear about him at all.
Mhm.
So it just feels like such a side thing. So I'm excited for more of that. Think this is fun, a little lighter than any of the other Ultimate stuff, which is fine. It's Miles. My only, I think, other critique is Miles is like handling that. I understand he's like upset about his sister, but just being in another universe, you think Miles, out of all people, would be like, I understand how this works. Things are weird and different. And he's just like, what do you mean you don't have a Quinjet? And I'm like, Miles, you've been to other universes
Come
before,
on,
man. You
bro. This
know
ain't
how
your
this
first
works.
rodeo.
Yeah, exactly. AF. Sticking with spider people. This is Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 15. This is the conclusion of this quote unquote run, if you will, this chapter of Stephanie Phillips' Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider story, because it will be continuing with a new number 1 later on. This is written by Stephanie Phillips, artist Paolo Villanelli and Von Randall, colorist Matt Milla, letterer Ariana Mayer, and editors Kaden McGahee and Jordan D. White. I will let you talk a lot about this, but I will also say I did read this issue because there was a lot of chatter on the internet going about this issue and what it may or may not have done. What I will say for you, TJ, as you're getting ready to hear this, it's a bit ambiguous. It's a bit vague. This can be perceived in several different ways, but the way that a lot of people have been perceiving it is upsetting quite a few folks online. AF, what happened at the end of this book?
Yeah, so we all know that she has the power of the cosmic cube, right? She's on another planet. She's with King Loki, with this planet full of monsters that Loki created. And Loki tries to just go all out to escape, essentially. So he tries killing all of these monsters. He kills the monster Loki, that sort of another variant of himself. But when he's killing all of these monsters, they are so dedicated and so devoted to him that they don't perceive it that he's the one that's killing him. So they sort of revert to everybody else, and you have Gwen then asking Obi to sort of call for reinforcements, and that's where we get our TVA friends, Gambit and Captain Carter from the TVA
It's
run.
canon.
They showed up. They came up to help, and but they aren't main players in this. They just come in for a couple of pages. But the biggest thing in this book is where she sort of goes into her mind again and has this conversation with the Cosmic Cube, about what she should do or how she should get rid of King Loki, and like how this will sort of deviate her life moving forward. And I think the essence of the story is what the Cosmic Cube like tells her is like, you are the author of your own story. You are the one that gets to decide what happens next. You have the power to sort of mold your life in the way that you'd want to. And yeah, essentially, she just does that. She does whatever she wants. She does whatever she wants for her life. And what does she want more than anything? To be reunited with her dad, to just live a normal life. And when she does that, she loses the cube's power, but she gets her original spider abilities back. So that's no symbiote suit anymore. It's the normal clothes that she has to put on manually. And she is back on 616. She's not on Earth 65. This is now her new home. Her dad is with her. And I think that is the point of what Stephanie Phillips was trying to tell in this issue is that you are the person that has the ultimate decision making powers within your own life. So anything that you want, you can try to achieve that if you really want it that badly. I don't know, Damon, if is there something that you understood
Oh.
differently?
It's not something I understood differently because I agree with you on that. From my understanding of reading this, and I just read this issue, by the way, I haven't been reading the rest of it, so I don't have the extra context. You've been telling me what's been going on, so I understand the Cosmic Cube and all of that of it all. My understanding of this is that she used the cube's power to essentially bring her dad back into the 616. So in a way, Captain Stacy never died.
Yeah.
That is kind of how she did it. And with that, she no longer has a symbiote with her. She has her original powers and this and that. What the talk of the internet has been is that people are upset that they think she rewrote the story to make it so Gwen Stacy never died in this universe. And that to me is not what actually happened here. From my understanding of it, from your understanding of it, I believe that interpretation of what occurred in this issue is incorrect. Stephanie Phillips is very open on social media. I commented in one of her videos, just be like, hey, if you want to clarify just essentially what happened in this issue, that would be great. Maybe it's addressed in the new #1 going forward.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think a lot of the frustration some people have in terms of like they rewrote history. Gwen Stacy never died. I think that is incorrect. You cannot possibly do that. And
Yeah.
we're already just in like a Gwen Stacy limbo between that and Gwenpool and like whatever the heck else is going on with Spider-Man. So I think that would be a little crazy. I don't see that happening. In the end, I think it was just a way to have like a new, fresh, clean slate of a Spider-Gwen book with a new #1 to go forward, where it's just, hey, we're back to basics, but instead of Earth 65, we're on the 616, which that's a whole decision on its own that you would like or dislike. Personally, I prefer her on Earth 65 because I find Earth 65 very interesting, and I'm a bit bummed that she was ripped away from that. But in the end, I think it's a good way for people to maybe get on to a Gwen Stacy book, a Spider-Gwen book, and have it be a little bit back to basics.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully with everything that you just said now. And I just think that with Stephanie, she doesn't always do something without the payoff coming a bit later. So I think that maybe she might not respond like on TikTok to whatever people's asking her. Maybe it's something that it's a plot point for later on, and she'll get to that eventually. So, like what I've learned with her writing is that you just have to have a little bit of patience. I remember back in issue 8 or issue 9, I was so close to like putting this book down because I just felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. But yeah, just some patience. And I mean, this final issue, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it because I think that she turned this entire story around very quickly, and there's a lot of the payoffs that like I think it was really good. It was really well done.
Speaking of books that you almost dropped, but you didn't, this is Secret Six, written by Nicole Manns, artist Roger Cruz, colorist Rain Barreto, letterer Steve Wands, and editors Paul Kaminsky, Kathleen Wisniewski. AF. There's 2 issues left, including this one, where this is the penultimate issue. Are we back?
This could have just been a giant size story, like a one off giant size story, because issues 2, 3, and 4 just really didn't add much substance to the story. This one actually did, because you find out where Amanda Waller is, what her current state is. You get some answers about what happened with Jay, that Checkmate knew about his family, knew about the plans uh, that were in the pipeline for his family, getting rid of all of them. So you finally get some answers in this, and you have one issue left that they have a gazillion and one things to tie up, and they're probably not going to end up getting to that. But yeah, it was okay. I just feel like the Amanda Waller thing is the biggest thing in this, and we find out where she is. She's in an almost catatonic state because Dreamer got into her mind, told her that there's a bomb in her if she doesn't cooperate with X, Y, and Z, and basically what Amanda Waller did to the Suicide Squad. But essentially, there wasn't a bomb in her neck, so she was just like trying to like scratch open her skin and trying to like get this thing out. So her entire head is like bandaged because of everything that the Dreamer like put her through. But yeah, it's okay. There's one issue left. I hope there's some sort of payoff for
How would
everything
you
that
rate
I've
it out
been
of 10?
getting.
Since this is a thing we do now, right, TJ? How would you rate it out of 10?
I think I'm
Great.
giving this a 5.5.
5.5. Okay. Pretty
Yeah.
right down the middle,
Oof.
right there. What book has not been a 5.5 out of 10? Hey guys, did you know I've been liking Magic stuff recently? TJ, did you know this? Is this like a new thing for me telling you? Brand new
No,
info.
I've never heard of Magik.
This is written by Ashley Allen, artist Jermon Peralta, colorist Arthur Hesley, letter Ariana Mayer, and editors Noah Sharma, Darren Shannon, Tom Brevoort. This is Magic number 7. Been digging this series. It's a little bit of a character study on Ilyana, this is her first ongoing series. I'm really hoping it doesn't stop at 10, but with this whole era of apocalypse thing, who the flip knows what's going on anymore. And this book has been selling very, very well, by the way. So it would be mind-blowing to me if this series only just stopped at 10, but that'd be very Marvel of them as well. What's been going on in this is Ilyana kind of found like a kid who is a part of a secret society. There was a demon involved who had like a twisted-ish version of Ilyana's whole backstory where he was sacrificed, went to another dimension. He became king of that dimension, embraced it rather than Ilyana, who left it. And that became kind of like her new nemesis. That demon entity then took over that younger apprentice of Ilyana's, and she's been kind of dealing with that. We then go deeper into the whole secret society here. We actually see the entire secret society, which is brand new, and Ilyana is hilariously sarcastic throughout, just essentially saying like, wow, you guys did a really good job, like when demons invaded New York and everything else that happened in the Marvel universe. Yeah, good job, guys. What have you prevented, essentially? And the boss is like, yeah, we do our best. Like, yeah, that's very perfect Ilyana right there. In the end, she's very protected over her heir. His name is Cal, and the society really want to kill him because that demon entity that is now living inside of him is slowly gaining power. Meanwhile, there's like something going on another side of the world, and Magic's like, we gotta go deal with this, and I'm not leaving Cal here with you all because I think you're gonna kill him, and there's some magic doohickeys involved. It's been fun. If you like Ilyana stories, I think you really like it. I think this is one of the better setup issues because sometimes setup issues can be a bit slow, a bit. This is a big world building issue. You get to learn more about the society that, in my opinion, like Ilyana, does absolutely nothing, but that's fine. It's funny in the end. I do recommend it. That's all I'll say. I'll give it a grade 7.5 out of 10.
By the way, I love your Russian accent. That was great. I thought Ilyana was in the room right now, dude. I had to look over
Listen
my
to enough of
shoulder.
Florence Pugh's Russian accents to. There we go. I'll do more of my Russian accent going forward with the rest of this series, I guess. Hello, Darkness from Boom Studios, number 12. This is a big anthology book. Did either of you check any of these stories? Ow, I'm seeing blank faces.
I barely got Fantastic Four in before we got
I
on
did
here.
not. Sorry, I
Okay.
did not.
breaking my heart, gentlemen. Breaking my heart. What we like to do here when it comes to these is just kind of like give a little quick what was my favorite story in here. And for me, there is a story about a collector who, when I mean a collector of like how we collect things. And he became so into the collecting aspect and not so much the enjoying aspect. And then a little Toy Story happened, and all the toys came to life and killed him. Because they're like, you're not enjoying this anymore. You've turned evil. And because he collects a lot of superhero stuff, and the superheroes are like, you're the villain now. And he even literally like ripped away the very first like page as he ripped away like a box, like a action figure away from a kid in a Walmart. And he's like, this is mine. So I was like, yeah, he's a pretty bad dude. So there you go. There's your lesson, guys. Don't be the villain of your favorite characters.
Dude,
or else
that
your
just
toys will
sounds-
come
that
alive
just
and kill you.
sounds-
Yeah.
That just sounds brutal.
Oh, very brutal. The final page is the mom of the collector, naturally, because he lived in his mom's house, was selling all of his toys, and she was like, yeah, I want to make sure these go to like a kid that'll enjoy them. And that kid that he ripped the toy away from was like, well, maybe I want to be a collector. And she's like, no, I will sell them to you only if you enjoy them. And he's like, okay, I want to do that anyway, because collecting thing is dumb. And then the final page is like that guy, the collector, in a toy box, like all like brutally murdered and stuff. Fun.
I love it. I need to go read that right now then.
Very fun story. That was my favorite of the bunch. And then as always, Robert Hack's little like individual single old school art style, like funny little quips in there. Always enjoy. 2. I want to talk about this though. Have either of you ever read, this is a bit of a cult classic, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees? Have you heard of it? Well, you should.
I have not.
Fans of You, the show You, that's on Netflix, about the serial killer, will love the original series. And the original series, it's a little confusing. It says it kind of came out in 2017, but in reality, it wasn't in print until 2023. It's about a bear in a small town, and she's a serial killer. It's her way of getting all the anger out. She goes into the city, kills a guy, throws him back in the woods, and then just lives the rest of her life. And it's very creepingly, like, it's a cozy, like, you think it's cozy because it's like, oh, what a happy little town. And then this bear is just like evil, like serial killer level evil. This issue takes place 8 years after the finale of that series, which it's a short series. I think it's like 6 issues or so. It was a limited run. And it's about the sister of one of the people in this universe. They're all animals. It's one of the ducks she killed way back when. And the sister of that missing duck has been looking for him the last 8 years, and they're finally starting to cross paths. Again, it's written so well. This is written, drawn, and colored by Patrick Horvath. To my knowledge, the original series is the only thing Patrick has ever done in comics. And it's like an Eisner Award winning book. It's one of those where it's like,
oh, yeah.
you cannot come into this and be this good this quick. That is not allowed. How sacrilege. I joke about this with a buddy of mine in a comic shop. The way he writes and has these characters think, it's one of those where it's like, how much research did you do into this? And I'm concerned. Because it's very well thought out and very well done. A bit gruesome, especially the first page. Like, if you can get by the first page, you get through anything in the book. Because they show it. They show the whole 10 yards and everything. It's just fascinating. Again, fans of You.
So, is this like I literally just did a Google search now. So the original one was a graphic novel. Is this going to probably go down the same route? Probably about like 10 issues, and then just
I don't know how many issues this is, if it's like 5, 6, or whatever, but I assume it'll go down the same route.
okay.
But the
That's
original ended up going into single issue print before a collected edition.
if you could
It's
rate.
great.
So the original graphic novel, if you can
10.
give that a rating out of 10.
10. 10.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Like
Okay.
straight 10.
Cool.
And this
Looking
first
into it.
issue, like a very good 9.5 out of 10. This the original takes place in the 80s, so this is like, again, it's a world full of animals, but you have a small town and a city. The original series takes place in the 80s, and now we are now 8 years later into the 90s, so the internet is starting to become a thing. And that's how like we're progressing with the story. Fantastic. Art
I'm
is
so in. I am
yeah,
so
art
in
is
on
great.
this.
If you love murder mysteries, psychopaths, for anyone who's just like really gets obsessed over serial killers, like the way they make this damn bear think and what they show and how this bear has been getting away with it for years. It's one of those again where I'm like, Patrick, how much research did you do? I'm concerned. It's great though. It is genuinely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all
Go
in.
check
I need to read this.
Go
Yeah,
check it out. Absolutely worth it.
I literally just look for the graphic novel now, so I'm gonna try to
Yep,
pick
go
that up.
grab it from your local library, comic shops, wherever. I think this is one of those. The original series is one of those where it's absolutely worth owning. And funny enough, at my comic shop, there's always like a trade. He's sold so many of them recently, which is like almost unheard of from like a non-big two book, you know?
Yeah.
And his book just kind of came out of nowhere. So again, I can't pitch it enough. Anyone who I know, I'm like, do you like you? And they're like, I love you. I'm like, go read this book. Just go read this book. You'll
I'm
love
sold, dude.
Let's get into next week's polls. I got quite a decent amount. Absolute Batman, Absolute Flash, Imperial is finally back after a month. Nightwing 128, Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men, and then from Boom Studios, Red Before Black, written by Stephanie Phillips, and Be Not Afraid #2. TJ, if you have, I don't remember if I gave you the full Be Not Afraid #1. That was the story from Hello Darkness. That was like about the demon child,
I think so.
like the full core
Mhm.
demon child. Like,
Yeah. I remember
yeah,
that.
go again. I'll give you that first issue if I hadn't already. Go read that, and then next week we'll have the second issue. It's a great full core book, that first issue. So I'm really excited for that second one. AF, what do you have for next week?
Yeah, so your top three is basically on my list as well. Batman, Flash, Imperial #2, and then I have Satana #6, and I think that's the finale of the short series as well. So you get to see how that finishes.
We had a
Damn.
fun conversation last night. Like, it's almost like mental homework, not homework, but like a mental test. Whereas, how many characters can you name? And maybe we could do this for next week. How many characters can you name where the proteges completely like outclassed or like are more popular than the originals? And in that case, Zatanna was like the number one, like that started the conversation, because who the
Yeah.
hell knows Zatara? Like, no one cares when
No
stores
love
like,
for
hey,
Zatara.
Zatanna. So there you go. Yeah, we'll accumulate some of our
Captain
favorites for next
Carter.
week.
Yeah.
TJ, that's okay. What do you got next week?
I have, let's see, Death of the Silver Surfer #2, which I loved issue 1, so I'm excited for that. Battle Beast #3, one of my favorites. New Gods. Do you have Ultimate? Yeah, you got Ultimate Black Panther up there. and then Ultimate X-Men number 17, which I don't know what's going on over there anymore, man. I'm
You're
loving
loving
it
the
still. That
vibe.
doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm just like, what? Where are we going,
DJ
man?
needs me
Where
to
are we
explain
going?
it every week.
Yeah, no, literally.
What
I'm
did I
like,
just
okay.
read?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Damon, sit me down real quick and tell me what is happening here. And then I also have Exceptional X-Men, which I want to highlight because I really enjoy this book, but it is another one that I am embarrassingly behind on. So I don't know, maybe it just completely fell off after the first couple issues and I'm talking out of my ass. But I really enjoyed it, and we're talking about Stephanie Phillips, so I wanted to just highlight that's one I'm excited to catch up on myself. But yeah, that's what I got.
There you go. Gentlemen, I know we're all very excited to see the Big Blue Boy Scout soon.
Oof.
TJ, you said you're seeing it later today. I'm seeing
Yes,
it
I am.
a few hours. Very excited about that. AF, you should be seeing it maybe tomorrow, I assume?
I'm seeing it tonight as well.
Tonight? Oh my goodness,
So,
it is all
yeah.
happening. It is all
Heck
happening.
yeah.
Very exciting. Very, very
3
exciting.
hours from
I'm
now.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. I'm excited. You're excited. AF's excited. We are very excited. And if you're excited too to hear our thoughts on it, AF, I believe you'll be joining us on
That is
our
correct.
review on Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Ages of Fandom Network. You're on YouTube, Facebook, and the Bad Place. We will have myself, AF, and maybe some surprise guests too. So keep an
Superman.
eye out for that. Might as well be. Might as well be. All right, that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in live and on demand. Please go support your local comic shops. Go to comicshoplocator.com to find the nearest comic shop near you. We'll be back next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, as we are every week now. We finally really are hitting like a consistent time. Yes, we did it.
Until the
Good
clocks
morning,
change.
everyone. Until the clocks change. And
Yeah.
freaking daylight savings. POS. Time travel, baby. I hate it so much. And that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Before I go on to time travel rants, we'll see you next week, everyone.